So, I hear we're into some of the same stuff.
You're about to join Jon
and Eric
as we explore said stuff.
really bad movies, Sega Genesis,
Sports and girls. The interesting aspects of pop culture.
and we'll answer listeners' mail because you have so much to say.
You are listening to
A sophisticated conversation.
Greetings and welcome to episode number 11 of Podcast
11.
Revolution.
10 plus 1.
Yes, Eric.
9 plus 2.
How else can you get to 11?
6 plus 6.
22 divided by 2.
Just kidding.
5.5 times 2.
Well, this is episode 11. People may say, no, this is episode 13. No, this is episode 11. The Toronto episodes were a spin-off.
They weren't made in the studio.
It's kind of like...
This is the 11th studio
exactly.
episode.
It's kind of like, Cheers was the main show, and then Frasier was the spin-off. Well, Toronto was Frasier, except it was funny. So there we go. So we hope, if you haven't listened to it yet, as you may know, we did a trip to Toronto, and we have a two-parter, special episodes. So definitely check those out if you haven't yet. And one thing we forgot to do while we were in Canada over July 4th was say happy birthday to our country. We got so caught up in everything Canadian because we were in Canada and we were having such a great time that, we did forget. But we do appreciate literally the best country in the world. And thank you to all our soldiers out there. We actually have some listeners that are in the military, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
So,
it'll be more cool
yep.
if they actually came into the studio and talked to us.
That would be pretty cool. So any listeners who are soldiers, we welcome you to come in. And
One listener who is definitely not a soldier is Bacteria Mike.
that is true. That's right. Bacteria Mike is back.
He was in Toronto with us, and he decided to come to the studio with us. Now, we don't want to overexpose the bacteria, but we'll let him hang out with us a little extra.
Yeah, and Bacteria Mike told us he hates our intro,
It's atrocious.
which is awful. So for those...
We put a lot of hard work into it.
We did.
It took like 20 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to be probably around episode 20 or something. Bacteria Mike is going to help us with a new intro.
Yes.
It will be very, very classic, very old school, as in the one we have now will definitely be a part of it, but a new interpretation of it.
Yes.
So
I will put my spin on it.
Exactly.
It'll be awesome.
It will be great. It will be a whole new theme, but at the same time have the essence of what it was. So moving on. Today was a great day. I came home from work and I went to the mail, opened up, and I never get mail ever at my house. So
You never get mail on the podcast either.
I know, it's... Thanks, John. So, ladies, please send me some mail. But anyways, so I'm checking my mail, and I got this big envelope that looked way too fancy to be from Bacteria Mike. Sorry, Bacteria Mike.
It's okay. Next time I'll try to include some
Yes.
cologne in there. Or
Oh,
something.
yeah, absolutely. And it was a wedding invitation for my co-host to the left of me. So it's pretty exciting. His wedding's coming up, and it got me thinking. John's been planning a wedding for a long time. He's looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun, but there's a lot that can go wrong on a wedding day for those who don't plan right. And I was on YouTube earlier, and I watched a video of a photographer that fell into a fountain in the church because he wasn't paying attention. There's grandma can get drunk. I mean, there's a lot of things that can go wrong.
Grandma should get drunk.
Grandma should get drunk. So, John, what are you worried about most? Is there anything you are worried about?
Oh, there's a few things that worry me, and most of them have to do with Frenchie, who is the best man.
Oh, yeah? So are these things that we can say on the air?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Well, Frenchie he's an interesting guy, not necessarily the most eloquent individual. So I'm very nervous about his best man speech.
Oh, really? Are you nervous that he's going to say some very inappropriate topics that will embarrass you in front of, because as we know, John, you're not going to impress her family with your dancing skills.
That's true. This is very true.
You got to impress her family with your friendship skills. So you're hoping that your friends
Well, that's
will,
up to Frenchie.
will come through. So what is the worst case? What is the DEFCON 1 code red of wedding speeches that could happen?
Well, either him like doing a profanity-laden speech, which I don't think he will. But one thing I'm worried about him doing, well, I don't think he'd do, but I've seen this at weddings before, is when it's just a bumbling mess, and the guy just stutters, and it's just not something I want to see. I don't want to see Frenchie embarrass himself and in turn embarrass me.
Oh. So it's kind of, this day is about you. It's like my Super Sweet 16, pretty much.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Except there's no 7 minutes in heaven in a closet.
Will you get a cake that looks like a Mercedes?
It's possible.
I'd be really pissed off that it's not a Ferrari.
And one thing that I'm worried about that Frenchie could do is this is what I've seen at another wedding, is the best man was giving the wedding ring to the groom, and he dropped it, and it almost fell off a balcony, which would have been quite disastrous. Now, if it did fall off a balcony and into a bush or into a river, that's not something you want.
So would the wedding be canceled if that happened?
I think a search party would have to be set up.
Hell, I want that guy to be my best man. I want to get out of this thing. If I was getting married, I would totally want that to happen.
Okay, I think you're just saying that right now.
I am trying to get you all riled up and nervous. It's not gonna happen. I think Frenchie's gonna do an excellent job.
As long as he doesn't screw, there's no way he could screw up the wedding worse than he screws up the podcast.
That's a very good point, actually. Miller, what do you think are some horrible things that can go wrong at a wedding?
One thing that I saw was at my cousin's wedding, the photographer, he had a digital camera, right? So you'd think that he'd bring an extra chip or two, make sure the memory is nice and clear to take all the pictures for this wedding. No. About 5 or 6 pictures in, he was completely full of memory. And
Really?
Yeah. And so when it came time for the pictures after the reception, it had to go on hold for about a half an hour while he went and got another memory chip for his camera.
That's pretty embarrassing.
No one was
That
happy
is-
about that.
That is pretty bad.
Was it a brand new camera that he never tested out beforehand?
No, I don't think so. He seemed pretty legit, and he was really knowledgeable on the thing.
Wow.
I mean, it's like, if it's your job, you'd kind of assume that this person would, check everything beforehand. It was ridiculous.
Yeah,
A
that
little
is-
bit funny, but mostly ridiculous.
Yeah, that's not good. I mean, I guess that's one of those things where it's good that we have digital cameras these days, so in case something crazy happens, there'll be pretty much 100 amateur photographers there
True.
to
On cell
follow
phones.
through. Although I've seen some cool stuff. I remember I went to a wedding once, actually, and each table had like a camera on it.
Yeah, we'll be doing that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool. Hopefully there won't be any inappropriate photos. Yeah. Taken, because my cousin's wedding, there was definitely some very, very inappropriate ones. So you may not want to develop the phone that the camera that KJ's has. You may not want to develop that one.
Oh, that'd probably be a pretty boring picture, actually. We kid cages.
It's just a picture of a TV at the wedding that has Dexter on or something. Just kidding, Cages. You're the man. Well, anyways, we should probably get to our...
No, not yet.
No, not yet? Okay, guess not. So,
We should talk to Bacteria Mike a little bit. See how he's been doing. How have you coped to reacclimating to America?
It's been really easy. Work the last couple of days. Sure, it was kind of hard getting up in the morning, but hey, what can you do, A good weekend calls for that kind of punishment in the AM afterwards.
yeah, I likened it to... It felt almost like a hangover. I don't mean a
Yeah.
hangover as in, like, we drank, because we really didn't. It's just, like, you had so much fun, and now it's over, and you're pretty
Back to
down.
reality. Oh, there
Goes
goes
gravity. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
That's enough of that.
Yeah. Surprised you knew that much, John.
It was in a commercial. It was
Yeah,
a-
right.
it
I
was a-
think you know all this stuff, and you just play it off like, no, I hate it. I bet you got a whole Eminem CD on there.
I can't name one of his... Well, no, I don't know the actual name of any of his songs. Not
Really?
one.
I know the ones on, like, the radio, like My Name Is and all that stuff.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
that the name of that song?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
then I guess I know that one. But, yeah, I am not too familiar with his work.
So what else is new, Bacteria Mike?
Just car searching, man.
Car searching. That's
Yeah.
pretty exciting. What do you know? Why your car seems pretty nice? Why the new one?
The brakes are starting to go, and it needs some more work. And at this point, it's just me more trouble than it's really worth. Really, you know.
Really? What other work does it need?
Let's see. It needs brakes. We just had to replace a wheel bearing. Some kind of pump is going. My dad was saying something about it, but I forget now. And
So,
it needs
time for a new one, huh?
Yeah, exactly. It needs about $1,300 or $1,400 worth of work.
Wow.
When we're just gonna be trading it in when I get a new car.
Well, maybe one of our listeners might have some good ideas for what your next car
Yes,
could be.
yes, definitely. Please, I'm looking for ideas that are not BMWs.
And
I tried that and it just wasn't gonna work.
I'm a Subaru guy for life, so I say you check out the Subaru.
I will definitely.
But
I think the Flintstones had it right. They don't have to worry about gas. You getting exercise at the same time.
yeah, but your feet would get like ripped off if you tried stopping.
Well, maybe you should get good shoes. Get some Timbs, and then you could listen to your Slim Shady on your Rocky radio.
There we go. There we go.
But yeah, if anyone has, thank you. If anyone has any ideas for what Mike should get for a car,
Nobody has ideas about anything. We always ask for ideas. Nobody ever gives us ideas. Stop asking for ideas, Eric.
Fine, I won't
Start
ask.
telling them.
We're not gonna.
Start telling them.
We're not gonna get. Fine. Listen up, y'all. Email Mike or die.
Check. What?
Check what? Email us or we'll clown on you.
That would hurt us.
Yeah, that would hurt us more than it would hurt. Son, this is gonna hurt me more than it's gonna hurt you.
We need to find out if there's a way to make a poll on our group.
Oh, you can.
Yeah, we should set up a poll pretty soon.
A poll? What kind of questions would you ask?
I don't know. We'll think of that.
Who do you like better, Eric or John?
Or maybe you should send in poll questions for us.
Oh.
And the plot thickens.
Or you could tell us. We could do a poll for who the favorite guest star is and who to bring back next.
Oh, Bacteria Mike would win that. Hands down.
It's Cages, Captain J. Russ, Bacteria Mike, obviously.
Oh, I think Bacteria Mike would
We have
steal the show.
We have Big Trevor.
Yeah, that's Big Trevor. Never mind. Big Trevor would probably win. He was.
Fine, then.
I want to get Trevor back on the show as soon as possible. That was hilarious. That was awesome with Big Trevor. So hopefully we can get him on here.
And he really wants to eat a horse. No, he wants to eat a moose.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
All right. I think now it's time for a commercial.
Okay.
All right.
We'll be back.
You're right in there.
Oh no, man. Oh, jeez.
What was that?
Oh man, I am so constipated right now.
For how long?
Oh, like 3 days, dude.
Well, that sounds pretty interesting.
Oh.
Now, I'm not constipated at all.
Really? Why?
Well, I used to be constipated, and I used to make noises like... But now I don't do that. Because I have Kellogg's Fiber Plus bars.
Fiber Plus bars? What do those do?
They give you better nutrition, and it's as delicious as they are good for you.
Really? Will it help me pass this thing in me?
Not only will it pass that thing through you, but it'll be good for your heart.
Oh, thank God, because I'm about to have a brown baby boy.
After you have your brown baby boy, you can get your heart on.
All right. Well, I think some people will have some issues with that commercial.
Yeah, I think so. We apologize for if you're deaf.
Yeah, we apologize for the loud volume noises and Eric's moniker for his feces.
Yes, very, very much so. I am very sorry for that. Luckily, I don't have that problem, but I can imagine that's not good if you do.
No, I wouldn't think so either.
Well, moving on, I have a question for the listeners out there. So
Okay.
I'm not
Well,
gonna.
before you get to the question, we do need to tell everyone before they notice. I'm sure they've noticed already that Bacteria Mike is not with us anymore.
Oh, that's right. Bacteria Mike laughed.
Yeah, he stormed out of the studio. He was furious with the suggestion that another guest star might be more popular than he is.
Right. he was not happy at all. And yeah, I don't know. I think this proves that we need to make a poll to find out once and for all who is the best guest.
And would Frenchie be included on that?
Frenchie, yeah. I mean, he's behind the scenes. He could be part of it.
Okay.
He hasn't said too much, but he's been on a few times. I think he counts.
Okay.
But moving on, I have a question for the listeners, and maybe even Jon here could. Jon's had some success with women because, of course, he's getting married, which is kind of, pretty successful right there. So, there's a girl who I don't necessarily work with. She works for a separate company that works in my building, in the cafeteria, and she's pretty cute. And I don't know if it's creepy. If you, not that I would try hitting on her or doing anything inappropriate, because after all, this is work we're at. But what are the best? Is it okay to do that? To possibly?
No, I don't
know.
Well, it's interesting, your dilemma. I mean, I need to visualize your cafeteria before I go into it. But, one thing you might want to try to do is try to gauge the situation. Like, see if she has a good sense of humor. Be like, maybe we should eat sometime. Bada bing.
Oh.
Or, even though it's not that funny, but it's a little icebreaker.
I know what you mean. It's just I don't want to be that creepy guy, because this girl is very attractive. She's she seems really nice too. She just started working there about 2 weeks ago. I don't know if she's home on college break or something, but obviously a bunch of the old executives and stuff hit on her every day blatantly, which is just creepy. But
right.
I don't want to be classified in the creepy category. So my question is, the listeners, maybe some of the female listeners can help, is if this is creepy or not. Well, what's your thought?
Well, actually, I think before you address her to find out if she's interested in you, you should follow her home and see if you're actually interested in her. Find out what she's actually like.
Oh yeah, just maybe wiretap her house.
Exactly. That's not creepy at all.
Oh, not at all. That's to catch a predator, pretty much. Do that.
Exactly. Chris Hansen would walk in behind you.
Why don't you take a seat right there, Eric?
Well, no, I think you should just try talking to her.
Maybe I will in the future. I think it's got to take a little time. She just started working here. I don't want to.
How do you know she doesn't already have a boyfriend?
That's a good point, but how would I know that?
I hope she does, and I hope she tells you that right to your face.
Thanks, Jon. Thank you for your wonderful support. Thank you.
Well, do you know her name or any of her friends who work there?
No.
No?
No.
You don't even know her name?
No.
Okay. Well, that's a great start.
Yeah.
Well, actually,
does she know my name?
Do you have a name tag?
Actually, yeah, I do. So she probably does.
Okay, then. But you could just try to find some way to say, "Oh, thank you," and then give her a pause to say your name, and see if she picks up on your cue.
See, this is when it would be good to have producer Melissa here, because she probably would have the other side of our argument about whether it is creepy or not. Because to be honest with you, I'm a little more, even though I'm on the podcast and I like being around people, I'm a little more the introverted side. I'm definitely, you wouldn't think so for my podcast personality, but I'm definitely a little more on the quiet side. I'm not really the type of person that kind of can walk into a room and all of a sudden everyone will know me and that type of thing. And so it's definitely interesting. I don't want to be
actually
the creepy dude, but
one thing you could do, I mean, all this is borderline creepy, I guess. But
I guess
it's a fine line you got to walk.
Right.
But one thing you might want to do is perhaps you utilize a wingman. Perhaps have one of your coworkers go through the line with you, and you could be like, "So Eric, that podcast that you made yesterday was so funny." And she could be like, "You do podcasting? What's that?" And you could be like, "Well, let me tell you, after work."
Oh, hey-o. Winner, chicken dinner. So maybe that will work. But I think just the fact that I don't want to creep her out or be weird is a good sign, though.
Well, yeah, you don't want to be creepy.
Or maybe I could just dance in the cafeteria and show off my dance skills. Maybe that's
possible.
That will work.
But one thing you could do once you start engaging in small talk is you could do the strategy that was employed in Seinfeld that one of the characters, a side character, used. Was you could make a bet with her that like this character was in or this actor was in this movie or something that you know is absolutely wrong, and that you bet her that you'll buy her dinner if she wins the bet, and make it so obviously she'll win.
The win-win situation right there.
Exactly.
Well, maybe one of those will work in the future. But just a thought, because, you know, I've just been working about 2 weeks now. She's a cute girl. So, she doesn't work for my company, though. It's a separate, like, thing. Like, it's the, like, food company, essentially,
Right.
that works inside. So, because we technically can't date people within our company, actually.
Right.
It's kind of funny how work does. I mean, I'm happy they do that.
We've
because-
already had this discussion
yeah,
in a previous episode.
Did we? You have a good memory. But,
I do. That's why I'm the host and you're the co-host. Yeah, that's right.
I'm the host.
You know what? Maybe you and Bacteria Mike should walk your skinny white asses out of here.
You said a bad word, potty mouth.
No. All right. Skinny is pretty bad.
But moving on, one thing I read actually a few hours before I came over here, which absolutely disgusted me because coincidentally I actually had been thinking of this earlier because when we were in Canada, I bought a shirt at a store, a souvenir shirt.
The one with the beaver?
No, not the one. I didn't get one with the beaver.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I should have, but it was just a shirt that says Canada on it, a red one, just for a memento of the trip. And I tried it on in the store just to make sure it fit me. And at the same time, I felt disgusting trying it on. Because I was just thinking, how many people have tried the shirt on?
Okay.
And how many people who... And for those who don't know me well, as John found out over the weekend from having to
He's
live...
very OCD.
I have very mild OCD. Like, I take a shower about 3 times a day, depending on whatever. Everything has to be a perfect... place with certain things.
He had to make his bed in the morning.
I had to,
even though like we were gone all day and we came back and as soon as we got back at night we went to bed. But the bed had to be spotless.
It like really bothered me if it wasn't made. Like I would have bothered me all day actually if it wasn't made. To be completely serious with you, I don't know. Just little things like that bug me. But it just got me thinking like how many people, nasty, gross people, had tried that shirt on as I did. Like, and so I was online just reading some funny articles on some blogs I read, and coincidentally, someone posted this picture. It was this guy who went to Macy's with his girlfriend, and his girlfriend needed a new bathing suit for the 4th of July. So as people know, female bathing suits are 2 pieces, and you can get one color, the other another, or whatever. So anyways, the girl... I guess the guy's girlfriend went to grab a pair of matching the bottoms part of the bikini.
Sounds good so far.
There was some severe, like I don't mean just light, like skid mark, like not even skid marks. I'm talking like it was on it. And the guy took a picture with his phone and posted it all over the internet. It's on a bunch of blogs, and it just really grossed me out to think that. I mean, luckily with a shirt. Like,
yeah,
there's no...
Unless if they wore it to the bathroom and then somehow...
Right, or if they're really sweaty and gross, I guess. But
yeah.
At least with a shirt, it's not as bad. But can you imagine like, it just freaked me out. It's like I never want to try on clothes ever again. I just want to order it directly, like put it in a bag, I'll try it on. If it fits, fine. If not, I'll send it back to you. I'll pay the shipping. I don't care. I don't want stained clothing. It just freaks me out. And have you ever run into anything like that, John?
Like that? No.
No.
I don't normally try clothes on. I just see it and I bring it home with me.
Really? You've never tried clothes on?
I try some on, but for the most part, no.
No?
No.
Because clothes changing rooms are pretty gross, too, actually. A lot of them are. Not all of them, but a good amount of them can be pretty,
and
pretty filthy.
You don't know what people do in those things.
Ooh. Yeah.
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 It's like a cruise ship, which I will be on in a couple months, so I'll have to make sure I sanitize everything.
Yeah, I think for your wedding gift, I'll buy you like 3,000 bottles of Purell or something. That should last you.
That works.
But I thought that was just...
Oh my god, it's
horrendous.
300 degrees in the studio right now.
It is.
Not literally.
Well, you don't have a window open, which I don't... Why is there never a window open up there?
No, because sometimes the air conditioner's on.
Oh. Well, the air conditioner is not on, and as people know, in New England, it's about 96 degrees with like 100% humidity.
Yeah, it's pretty warm.
So it's pretty high. We're on the second floor. So the bottom floor is actually pretty nice.
And the
And
bottom
then
floor is comfortable.
top floor is pretty bad. So it's pretty gross. So good thing I'm not trying any clothes on because I would feel bad for the next person. That would
Unless
have
if you
to-
bought the clothes.
That's true.
Like 90% of the clothes I try on, I end up buying.
Oh yeah.
You know that if you try on clothes, you are significantly more likely to buy it. If you're hesitant beforehand, your odds of buying it increase dramatically if you try
Really?
it on. Yes,
I
that is
mean,
true.
that makes sense, but sometimes I try stuff on just to find out what size I am. Like, I wear Levi's jeans and like them, and I was in Macy's. I just tried on a pair to make sure that it was the correct size so that I could look online and hopefully find it for cheaper, which I did do.
Oh, good.
But
You are very savvy with the internet finds.
I am very savvy with the internet finds, and I'm also very savvy at finding funny stuff on the internet. And one thing that I thought was really funny is
Really funny?
really funny.
Like, am I gonna fall out of my chair laughing?
I think so. There's a pair of boxer shorts called, I forget the name of them, but they they absorb the bacteria from your farts, and your farts don't smell.
Oh, kind of like the bed sheet. Have you seen the commercials for that? They have commercials for a bed sheet that
Absorbs your
that
fart.
absorbs your farts so that your
Oh.
partner doesn't have to deal with it. And it is a funny commercial.
Can you imagine taking like that bed sheet and just taking a knife and just ripping it open one day? Just
Well, apparently it kills it or something. I don't know. I don't think it stores it.
Ugh. Really? So what's it called?
I don't know. I don't have any need for it.
Is it called like the love blanket?
I don't know. But one thing that has a funny name that does a funny thing is this invention called the Sound Princess. Have you
What's
heard?
that?
Have you heard of that?
No.
It's an invention that they have for Japanese women, which I believe it's been imported to America, where when they're going to the bathroom, whenever they make a farting sound, they press this button and it sounds like a toilet flushing. So to mask the sound of
Why don't
their
they just
fart.
flush the toilet?
Well, this way
I do
conserves.
that all the time.
This conserves water. It's more environmentally friendly.
I actually dated a girl once when I was in high school that anytime she went into like the bathroom, even like a family one, she'd keep the sink on and like turn the shower on and stuff. And I remember my dad used to get pissed off all the time because she thought she was taking a shower like all the time. So she was over for the day and went like 2 or 3 times. He'd be like, "What the hell? Like all my water is being wasted." That's ridiculous. I mean,
Well, it's funny. Like, and if you're in a guy's room, like you try to hold it in, but if it happens, sometimes it happens. And if you're in another stall and you hear a guy fart, you start laughing.
I've laughed before. Actually, at work, it was funny because one time one of my bosses was, he was dropping some bombs, and I definitely heard it, and I had a hard time not laughing. And I've definitely made people laugh as well, especially at rest stops. I've done that a few times.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, but I think we should probably cut to a commercial break.
I agree with you for once.
All right, we'll be back.
Doctor, are you in? Doctor?
Yup, right here.
Oh my god, I'm so glad I found you. I need your help. I need your guidance and assistance.
Really? What? Did you break your arm?
Well, no.
Did you fracture your femur?
No, my femur's fine. But
Do you have erectile dysfunction?
no, this is, it's not about me. And my wiener it's still active.
Oh, really? Well, I guess that's good news.
Yes, but the issue I'm having actually has to do with that, is that now I cannot go on my computer because it keeps shutting down due to a virus. I believe that's what it's called, is a virus.
Virus?
Yes, and I was told to find the spyware doctor, so that's why I came to you, doctor.
I'm a pediatrician.
So, you can't help me with this? I was told to find spyware doctor. Do you know where I can find spyware doctor?
Do you mean the doctor that was rated PC Magazine Editor's Choice for Best Antivirus?
Yes, that one.
Oh, really? Well, you know where you can go find him?
Where?
podcastrevolution.mypodcast.com. Click the banner ad and go to www.pctools.com.
Oh, well, that's... You are an expert. You're so helpful.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
And, I do have erectile dysfunction.
I'm actually a gynecologist.
Oh, yeah.
right. Well, I think that commercial will be a little less offensive, and will probably generate a little less buzz from our crowd.
It will also probably not deafen everybody who listens to it.
This is true. So we do apologize for that. I mean, at this point, we can have Frenchie go in and fix it, but his workload's pretty big, anyways.
Well, moving on. I don't know if anyone here is a baseball fan, but John, what's your favorite part about going to a baseball game?
Besides the part where I don't go and ride a horse.
Besides the part where you don't go and ride horses, exactly.
Well, it depends what stadium I'm at. But actually, one thing I like best about a baseball game has nothing to do with the game. It's just the atmosphere of the stadium.
Oh, absolutely. And part of that atmosphere is when, unlike other sports where if a basketball, for example, goes into the crowd, or if a football goes into the crowd, or a soccer ball, you have to give it back to the players. Well, baseball, you get to keep the ball as a souvenir.
Just like hockey.
Yeah, but it doesn't happen as much in hockey.
It happens all the time in hockey.
Yeah, like once a game.
It happens a lot more than once a game.
Okay, 5 times a game, no more.
I'd say more, but go on. What's your point?
Anyways, baseball happens like
I am right.
90,
I am
90
right, by the
times.
way. But go ahead.
There are more foul balls than.
Okay, yes,
punts
I'm not
ball.
debating that. I'm just saying it's more than 5 times.
Great. Anyways, so moving on.
Yeah, go on.
The one of my favorite things is hopefully to try and catch a foul ball. I've come close. I've actually grabbed part of it once, but it bounced out.
I think a home run would be a lot better.
Well, home run, same thing. Just any ball that's hit by a player into the fans. Well, one fan in Texas the other night, he fell off the balcony of the stadium.
Was he trying to make a catch? Or did he just
trying-
fall?
No, he was trying to make a catch on a foul ball.
Ooh.
And he fell about 30 feet.
That's probably not so fun.
No, not fun at all. And it just got me thinking that I think people take foul balls a little too seriously. There's another video of a kid that got checked into a wall by a grown man. I just feel like if you're over the age of 13, you probably shouldn't bring a baseball glove with you to the park. Just throwing it out
reminds
there.
me of when people were trying to get Beanie Babies and furries and they trampled little kids
Right.
running into the mall.
There's a certain point where you hit an age where you really shouldn't be taking on kids in regards to this. And I know sometimes it's tempting. One time I was playing laser tag and this little kid would not leave me alone and just kept following me and zapping me, literally an inch behind me, followed me everywhere I went. And you're not supposed to do that. It was really, really annoying, but it's a kid. You don't do those things, but some adults feel they have to. So another kid got checked into a wall.
Okay, so I don't know how you made the jump from laser tag to...
Well, I'm just saying, if some adults, I think, take the game a little too seriously.
Okay, I still don't understand the jump, but go on. Yes, I agree with you. Some adults do take things too seriously.
And
it's... even though I'm still kind of guilty of this too, but... When you see grown adults with their jerseys on, which a jersey, that's, I guess, the threshold. But when you paint your face and go all out, that's the sign that you've taken fandom a little too far.
Well, unless you go with a huge group of say me, you, and Frenchie, and Bacteria Mike and Cages and everyone. Say we painted ourselves to say Bruins and it was really funny. Would that be acceptable, or is that?
Well, it's certainly not going to get us any chicks.
I don't think you go if you're doing that. I think you kind of took out the whole chicks part.
Right.
Plus, we'd be hanging around with you, a married man, so there would be no chicks.
I could be your wingman.
That's
Even
a
if it
very
means
good
me
point.
taking a chubby, I will suck it up. That's courtesy of Tobias Fumke right there.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, no, that's a good point, though. I agree that after a certain age, I think the last time when I go to games, I wear a hat and a jersey, whether it's the Bruins or the Red Sox. I think that's okay.
Okay.
I think that's fine. What's your opinion?
I'm wearing a jersey and a hat?
Yeah.
What do I care? That's fine. It's not like it's the 30s anymore where people wear suits and ties and go to the games.
I can't imagine that being very comfortable.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure the crowds were a bit less rowdy back then.
Probably not. But yeah, definitely. So one thing that I did notice is just, Doug Flutie, for example, about 3 or 4 years ago, I think it might even been more than that, he went to Fenway with a baseball glove and caught a line drive. And I think he was kind of the caveat to that rule because he's Doug Flutie. So perhaps if you are a certain person, you can do whatever you want.
So sports icons are allowed to be little kids,
pretty much.
like Brett Favre.
Is he coming back? Or not?
He's coming back. There's even less buzz about it this year because everyone knows that he's coming
Really?
back.
John, I meant to ask you, what are your thoughts on LeBron James's press conference tomorrow night? Have you heard about that?
Yeah, I've heard about
They're
it.
selling They're pretty much doing it in order to sell ad space.
Yeah, pretty much, and that's what basketball has become. It's like the league has encouraged its players to become bigger than the team,
Right.
and they have. I mean, Kobe has. I mean, Kobe still thinks about winning, though. That's what separates him from other big players who only think about themselves.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I don't think LeBron James cares about winning.
No.
I really don't think.
No.
I think he could care less. I
If
think Michael
he-
Jordan cared about winning. I don't think LeBron James does at all.
No, I don't think he has the competitive spirit to him.
No, I mean, I think it would be good if he did, and he has the skills to be a player to lead a team, but would he work day in, day out to do it? Probably not.
I think he's content making the big bucks. I mean, big bucks is nothing to complain about, but I mean, there's a reason why you're there and why fans pay to see you play. Fans want to win,
Yeah.
and that's what's frustrating with sports in general is when the player doesn't care.
Yeah, it's funny. I've kind of, I've always liked reading books like A Separate Piece and all these coming-of-age novels, and sports was a huge, huge part of my life growing up, and even so now. But I think one of the hardest things is realizing that all these guys you grew up worshiping, they're really a bunch of jerks. Like,
Yeah,
a lot of them, like Roger Clemens, I worshipped the guy when I was a kid. He's a drugged up
like
criminal, really.
Most sports stars, like when you're a kid, you idolize them. Then when you're an adult, you realize that most of them are bums, and you wouldn't really want to hang out with them.
Yeah, it's
and
fun-
there are exceptions, obviously.
it's kind of like a loss of innocence. It's like you grow up thinking that these people are perfect and do no wrong, and you kind of find out, like Phil Kessel and all these guys, that it's just a bunch of money-hungry guys that really, and it's the fans that suffer the most, not the players. I mean, they're
Right.
They're gonna come in, they're
And-
gonna play, get their check, and there you go.
And it's sad when players pay really hard for a contract, and then once they have one, they tank.
yeah,
Like I think every single contract should be performance-based. That would make sports more interesting.
kind of like the real world, essentially.
Exactly. Like I wish I had a contract at my job where if I did a bad job, I could still be guaranteed all that money. Where I'm not that lucky. I have to work day in and day out and make what a baseball player makes in one pitch.
Yeah, pretty much. Same thing for me. It's ridiculous. I mean, LeBron James, he's probably going to sign a contract for easily over $100 million.
Yeah, or
And
probably over $25 million a season.
I don't even know what I would do with that money.
I have no idea either.
Well-
And you know what's funny is the athletes don't even make, well, the big athletes don't even make most of their money from their salary. They make it from endorsements.
What's funny too is I've read a lot of insider books about how a lot of professional athletes, they actually live paycheck to paycheck because they don't, a lot of them don't know how to manage their money correctly.
Well,
or taxes.
most of them are too young. They start out in their early 20s. I mean, I'm in my early 20s, but I mean, I haven't been just training for sports my whole life. I've actually gotten an education, which most of these guys haven't.
Right.
And they don't know what to do with the money.
Yeah.
And I with what I know now, if I had that kind of money, I'd start a 401k, or I'd still live pretty well.
Yeah.
But I'd make better decisions.
I'd spend it all on hookers, actually.
Oh yeah, hookers and blow.
All of it, yeah. The entire thing. I wouldn't, I wouldn't put any of it in investments. I wouldn't do any of that.
Well, it would still be staying in your family though, since you'd be paying your mom.
Touche.
Yes. But yeah, but back to the guy who fell off the thing. Yeah, they need to make. I don't know. They're probably gonna think about safety regulations now.
I think so. You know what? I'm always surprised is no one has fallen off the green monster seats at Fenway Park. When
That's
they hit
true.
a ball up there, you see everyone kind of leaning over. They can get over to about their armpits, and it's just I'm waiting
Oh,
for
did
someone
you know
to
that-
fall off that thing.
To sit in the green monster seats, your feet need to be strapped in. Did you know that?
No way.
Nah, no,
Yeah, you made that up.
I did.
Yeah,
But-
not falling for that one.
But actually, one safety measure that sports has done that actually hasn't hindered a game at all was in hockey when they put the safety netting up behind the glass behind the goalies.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I mean, I've sat behind the
It
net,
doesn't
too.
hinder your view at all, really.
Yep.
And it saves lives. I mean, a girl died about 10 years ago from
Blue Jackets game.
yeah,
Actually, it was on her
Espen
birthday.
Knudsen.
Yep.
Yep. But yeah, so that's actually been not a hindrance to the game. So
So maybe baseball can and find a way. Maybe they should just put a moat around the end of the seats.
Well, one thing, but see, this is one incident at a baseball game that they're going to look at right away. But then there's hundreds of incidents where referees or umpires blow a game. Baseball hasn't done anything about that yet.
Don't even get me started. Baseball should have the instant replay.
Obvious, of course. Everybody thinks baseball should have it, except the purists who are idiots.
They're a little old and cranky.
They want baseball to be like it was when they were younger. But guess what? When you were younger, you didn't have instant replays to see how badly the calls were blown. Now we do. It takes 3 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. We're starting to get towards the end of the show, I'd say.
So it's about time for one more commercial.
One more commercial, and maybe we can follow up with some movie and book or music reviews of some sort.
That sounds very kosher.
All right, cool.
We shall return.
It's me, Joe Schmo, normal guy on the street. What do you think I'd like to listen to? Because I want to listen to something, but all the stuff I like to listen to, I've listened to 100 times. What's something new I can listen to?
Do you like really bad movies?
Well, some of them make me laugh, like Troll 2.
Do you like Sega Genesis?
Sega Genesis, that has some great games, like Sonic the Hedgehog.
Do you like sports and girls?
Well, I really like sports, and I like girls, but they don't really like me.
Do you like the interesting aspects of pop culture?
Of course, I live in pop culture.
Well, I know what you need to do.
What do I need to do?
You need to listen to more Podcast Revolution.
Podcast Revolution?
Oh yeah, the best podcast out there. It's even approved by Apple and on the iTunes store.
Who's on Podcast Revolution?
These two guys, Jon and Eric.
Really?
Yeah. And Eric is a lot cooler.
Is he now?
Yes, that's what everyone says. They even address letters to him in emails.
Wait, your name tag says Eric. Are you Eric from Podcast Revolution?
No, gotta go.
That guy smelled kind of funny. I'm gonna go check out Podcast Revolution, where they have ads like Kitchen Daily.
Well, that was a great commercial for Podcast Revolution.
Oh, I wonder who those guys are.
Yeah, that's a interesting podcast. Anyways, looks like we got a listener mail from Scott Welch. And should I read it or should I just discuss it?
I would discuss it because there really isn't a question.
All right. Well, yeah, Scott. Most of the time when people send in emails to the show, they send in a question. If you just want to talk to us, well, Scott, you already know who we are, so you could just talk to us by normal means. But if you're gonna waste space in our email, I highly recommend that you put in a question, or else we're gonna block you from our mailing list. No, I'm just messing with you, Scott. But Scott's our buddy who's just recently moved out to L.A. and he's working on building his budding career as an actor.
Yeah, he's in Beverly Hills.
And I actually filmed some movies with Scott back in the day, some comedies for high school projects
is
and
that
whatnot.
what they call those these days?
All right, Eric, way to totally make this what it isn't. And we're trying to promote Scott Welch, and you're trying to take him down a peg.
No, I'm just trying to promote your movies that you made with Scott. That's all.
They're pretty funny. Shut up, Eric. No, we seriously.
No,
did
I
make
know.
fun movies. Yeah.
I've actually seen them before. Scott is very talented. He does a lot of cool stuff these days. He's doing what? He's doing like modeling.
He's doing
stuff.
modeling.
He
He was recently in a small independent film. I know he got cast for Rescue Me, but I know there was some issues with the filming scheduling. But still, all cool stuff.
That is pretty cool.
And Scott, you're going about this the right way. You're not planning on becoming a star overnight. You're building your way up. So you're not gonna run away from Hollywood if you don't make it big in a year. You're giving yourself a couple years to make it big. So
And you will, Scott.
Yes, you have.
will.
We are your #1 booster club right here at
Absolutely.
Podcast Revolution.
So I think he was even in some Improper Bostonian pictures or something, which is a local magazine. I think he was.
Interesting.
So that's
And-
pretty cool. So
And Scott was saying he'd love to do a guest phone call with us. So once we figure out how to do that,
Yeah,
we'll
that'd be
get you
cool.
in.
Definitely. So, Scott, thank you very much for the support. We do appreciate it. And tell all your friends out in LA to listen to us, too.
Yeah, you scratch our back, we'll scratch yours. And yeah, definitely. And Scott's a good guy, and he's always been a good friend. So we'd like to repay the favor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But moving on, we will...
Speaking of Hollywood
Okay.
and movies and stuff, we might as well recommend some.
Oh, absolutely.
Eric, any movies tickle your fancy lately?
You know what did tickle my fancy is I'm going to recommend them as one movie. Star Wars.
Star Wars?
Star Wars. And that's because on July 4th...
Wait. The old trilogy or the new trilogy?
There was only 3 movies made, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm being silly.
Yeah, Lucas was gonna make some prequels, but he never did because he realized they would be really, really bad and have really bad actors and would be all CGI and would be really terrible and ruin the original movies for legions
That's
and
right.
generations
Lucas
of fans.
he has a lot of insight, so that's why he didn't make
so
them.
he was a good director. He decided he wanted to preserve, rather than go after money, Lucas decided he wanted to preserve how great Star Wars was. So he didn't make episodes 1, 2, and 3,
Okay,
which is
well,
great.
That's understandable.
Yep. So anyway, so I do recommend Star Wars episodes 4 through 6. It was a marathon actually on Spike TV on July 4th, and even though we were in Canada, they still played them in Canada too, which is cool. So definitely recommend them. If you haven't seen these, you're living under a box.
Yeah,
pretty
who doesn't
much.
like Canada?
It-
If Canada's going to play them, then we think it's worth seeing.
Absolutely. So Star Wars, you may think it's
What-
dorky, but you know there's a lot of cool storylines and there's a reason that it's remembered as one of the top films like ever. So
Well, which one of the original 3 do you like better?
episode 5, Empire Strikes Back, hands down.
Why do you like it so much? Without giving away any spoilers, that I'm sure nobody. I'm sure there's at least one person out there who doesn't know the big twist.
It's just everything goes wrong, and you don't see that a lot in movies. A lot of movies are everything goes right, or the good guys always win, or whatever. So with this one, the story was great. So I absolutely Empire Strikes Back, my favorite one.
All right. Well, I think my recommendation will be the 2009 Oscar winner for Best Picture, which is Slumdog Millionaire.
Oh, good movie.
And that movie did definitely deserve to win.
Oh,
that
absolutely.
year.
It's very rare I agree with the Academy Awards. I wholeheartedly agreed with that one.
And that movie dominated every award show, and it had every right to.
Yes.
A great story, and it utilized the child actors very well. It was a very believable, and the kids worked. They did a great job.
They did good, and the director of that movie is also one of my favorite directors. He's also done 28 Days Later, and a bunch of other.
What's his name?
cool-
Danny
Boyle.
Danny Boyle.
He's
Yeah.
done a lot of really good movies. So any of his other stuff is all really good too.
Yeah, that it's basically, for those of you who don't know, it's about kids growing up in India. It used to be Bombay, now Mumbai, and the trials and tribulations of their life, which is pretty much retold as the kid is going through Who Wants to Be a Millionaire in India, and the questions all somehow
Relate to his
cosmetically
life.
have to do with his life, and that help him get through
It's
it.
all destiny, and excellent, John. I completely agree with you on that. Couldn't recommend that one anymore. So check that one out too.
All right, and would you like to make a CD recommendation?
CD recommendation.
Or book if you had a book
All right,
on
no,
your
I
head.
got a CD one. It's very rare that I buy a rap album. I'm not a big fan of rap.
Okay.
I'm just not. And Drake, Thank Me Later.
Drake, Think Me Later.
Drake from Degrassi, who released a rap album. It's actually, I bought it as a joke, but it's actually not bad. I'm being serious. It's not that bad of an album.
Okay.
So just because I bought it, again, I'm not a rap fan. I have maybe
Well,
two
what
rap albums.
differentiates this from other rap albums?
it's just actually good. The whole album's not just about like I got my girls, I got my money, it's kind of really cool. A lot of the beats are really neat too. He uses like a lot of piano. Alicia Keys does a few tracks with them, and
Okay.
it's pretty cool. I was surprised. I actually like it a lot. So
All right.
there you go.
Well, if you're gonna be cool enough to go off the beaten path and recommend a rap album, then I will follow suit.
Yeah.
And I'll recommend Personal Journals by Sage Francis.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, Sage Francis is one of the very few exclusive rappers in my music collection.
He's really good. I actually got to listen to Sage Francis for the first time when I was with John, because we listened to pretty much his whole album on the way to Canada.
Well, we listened to a different one, but
Or a different one?
yeah, but this one is probably my favorite by him. Yeah, we listened to a few off it.
Yeah,
But I mean, he
it's
actually
good.
he sings about real issues. He's college educated, and he's won a lot of poetry slams in like Rhode Island or whatever.
Really? Yeah, no, he was definitely really good. So there is such thing as good rap. I mean, it definitely, I think,
Just
for-
the mainstream totally
I'm
ignores
not
it.
a big fan of mainstream rap, but some of the stuff off the beaten path is really good. Like I like the Roots a lot. I like, which is kind of a blend of like jazz, fusion, rock, and rap. I like DL Incognito is another like alternative rap artist. Sage Francis is good. So there is such thing as good rap that I do enjoy. It's few and far between, but it is out there.
That's true.
So I think that's it for now. And as always, John, you want to thank the listeners?
They haven't done much for me lately. They haven't been sending in emails.
That's true. You know, we're not thanking you because you haven't sent us emails. Scott was the only one.
It's possible they might have forgotten our email address.
That is true, which is podcastrevolution@gmail.com.
Yeah, that's true. And
So,
and if you forget how to spell revolution, it's right on the title of our podcast, which you're listening to right now.
exactly. So,
Actually, I think right now you should send an email to podcastrevolution.com. If we can get over 10 emails for the next episode, we'll do something wacky that you suggest in the email, but not every email, just one of them. So you can make a wacky suggestion, but it might not be used.
it has to be something that is wacky but awesome.
Wacky but awesome. Yes.
So, but anyways, we also have a Facebook group, so go check out Facebook. Look up Podcast Revolution. Become friends with John or I. We could send you an invite. Check it out.
It's a public group. Anybody can and tell your friends, invite them, get them introduced to the podcast. And as always, we welcome your ideas. So if you want to send us an email and tell us what you want to hear us talk about, we will.
And our goal is to get 100 people in this group. We're up to what, like 40 right now? So
We're at 41.
So if you're a listener, join. If you have friends that aren't listeners, have them join, have them listen. We've been getting a ton of really good feedback. So,
And we know we have more listeners than just who's on the Facebook group. Some of them don't have Facebook, and some of them aren't aware of the group yet.
Right. And even if you don't know us, send us some emails. Like we got one once from some random dude. It was pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
To know that just we're out there, which is
Yeah,
awesome.
random dude. Please feel free to send us another
Yeah,
one.
so send us emails. Let us know what's up, and we can always read out any comments, questions you have for us, ideas for the show, things you want to talk about, whatever. Send it to us.
And or if you want to send an email that has to do with one of our guests, if you want to ask Bacteria Mike a question, you can do that too.
You can ask Bacteria Mike a question.
And it might take a little while for it to be answered because he has to be in the studio.
Right.
And I could do my best Bacteria Mike impression.
That's exactly how he sounds.
I know. That's why I did it.
Well, anyways, folks, thank you again. Check out the Toronto episode 2. I know we're throwing a lot of episodes at you this week. We had the two-parter, and then this one, and possibly even another one by the end of the week. So this is kind of, if you're a fan of PPR, Podcast Revolution, this is a good week for
Oh,
you,
that's what
fan.
PPR stands for?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's big.
Right, absolutely. So anyways, thanks again, everybody.
Yeah, don't be a human centipede. Stick around and hang out with us.
Well, actually, wouldn't they be a human centipede if they're going to stick around and hang out with us?
No, they'd be dead.
That's true. Anyways, au revoir.
Wiedersehen, goodbye, ciao, arrivederci, das vidania.
Oh, pants down.